This is Critical Commentary with Maurice Williams. Today we'll be discussing the Democrats' big night and the civil war that's ensuing in the Republican Party. Blacks, Hispanics, and whites can't read. Why you think I started a podcast? It's a fucking racist thing with you niggas, and that's why I'm coming at you niggas next. They love to talk about black violence. Have you heard of white violence? White people commit violent crime at 3 times the rate of Asians. When is Nick Fuentes gonna talk about white violence? Everybody's arguing about their 2 genders. I sat next to her hermaphrodite in math class. Am I allowed to talk about the Jews? If she wanted, we could do it in the morning. Yawning, letting my eyes stretch, baby, I ain't a novice. I've been a dog, she FaceTime, but I never call. So Mamdani won, yes, the communist. He won the mayor of New York. So some are saying that it may turn into a hellhole over the next 4 years, and some say it already is a hellhole. Mamdani got this nickname of being a communist by running on and campaigning that he would turn the grocery stores from private to government run to help with reducing prices. Moderates and conservatives, before you lose your shit. He only won with 51% of the vote, so it wasn't a landslide. So politicians, you need to take note. The youth is looking for help with the rising healthcare costs as well as the rising mortgage and rent costs. Also, in other news, Democrats actually swept elections throughout the nation. I tried to tell people that this would happen. America basically said no to a king, but many Republicans were telling me I'm just a dumb nigga from the South. So besides just Mamdani winning New York mayor, there were governor races in New Jersey as well as Virginia. So 2 Democrats won in New Jersey as well as Jay Jones won in Virginia. And the thing about Jay Jones is he won despite a scandal where text messages were leaked where he was discussing he says he was joking, but he was still discussing killing his opponent and their children. So this is just a bad look on the liberals and the Democrats, because lately a lot of the right has been talking about violence on the left, and a person who actually won the governorship was also discussing harming somebody on the right. I think that next time, Republicans, you should consider not platforming a gay Nazi, and you should consider not talking about immigrants in the immigration capital of the world. And I would just like to say congrats to the Democrats, but I still intend to get on that ass, because at Critical Commentary, we're fair and objective, so I will still be covering politics from a nuanced place. Yesterday, we covered some clips on Jasmine Crockett. I got your name right, Queen B. So I liked some of what she said, didn't like some parts. So I just thought it would be cool to check out some other clips that she posted on her social. This will let the viewers know, as well as myself, more about her, because she's like a rising political figure in Texas.
I think that we've got to engage in real conversations, but I shouldn't change who I am, because I am right on this. I know that the rural hospitals are shutting down, and I know it's not because of policies that I'm pushing. I know that it's the policies of the people that they have elected that are literally reducing their life expectancy. And I think it's wrong. Like, I get it. And so I just feel like it's a matter of going in and telling the real stories of the real struggles that I understand that you have. I get all of that. I don't think that it's a matter of trying to pretend that I'm going to be a Republican.
Okay, so this clip, I mean, she was on it. I mean, I think that people should say who they are and be honest. And she believes that she's right. So she believes, basically, she's saying that though she's a Democrat and she represents what people consider liberal policies, she thinks that those policies will also help people in rural America who tend to vote Republican. So yes, I think that you should always be honest with people. And if you feel that what you're saying is the correct stance, she's hoping, well, not hoping, because she doesn't want anything bad to happen to people, but she's thinking that when people see what the policies are doing that the Republicans have set forth, that they'll change their mind and be supportive of her. So I do think this is just highlighting that she wants to represent all people, and she cares about the constituency. She cares about the citizens who didn't vote for her, who aren't her constituency. So yes, that's a big win for you, Jasmine. I'm not myself a Democrat or a Republican. I consider myself a libertarian. I vote for who I think is the best candidate. But based upon the last 3 clips I've seen from you, I actually suggest to the viewers, maybe you guys should follow Jasmine Crockett on social media and find out more of what she's talking about, because she seems to have a quite a good bit of knowledge. And there's one more clip from her, so we'll see what she's saying in this one as well.
Did the Democrats shut the government down?
So what it usually comes down to is, number 1, adults being in the room. Number 2, entering into negotiations and listening. This president has decided he does not want to do that. That is why under his, 4 years and not even a total of a fifth, he's had 4 shutdowns versus his most recent predecessors who come nowhere near that. In fact, I think if you add up going all the way back to Bush, they don't add up to as many as his. So, who's the problem? I mean, I think it's pretty clear. We know who the problem is.
Okay, guys, so I don't do this on purpose. I agree with the first clip, and I agree with some of the things in the second clip, but not all of it. So they asked her a direct question, who's behind the shutdown, and she's basically saying Trump has had more shutdowns than there were under Obama, as well as Biden, and she's saying potentially also combining Obama, Biden, and George Bush. This may be true, but I do think from following this with you guys, the Democrats could open the government if they would vote on reconciliation and just meet with and talk to the Republican Party. So there is a way to move forward, and the Democrats could capitulate and actually take votes and decide to vote on a resolution, but they're choosing to say, no, we won't open the government at all until you guys extend the healthcare costs that are affecting, that will affect Americans on Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act. So what I would say is that she didn't answer the question directly because the Democrats do have the power to end the shutdown if they would negotiate with Republicans. But I do see what she's saying. She does believe that other presidents are better able to have negotiations and conversations with both sides. It is also possible that the Republicans could add time on the subsidies so that millions of people wouldn't lose their health care. And then in doing so, ending the shutdown would allow people who are struggling right now because of food stamp shortages and cuts to the government for welfare, it would help them out. So both sides, I think, could do more, and she basically just put it all on the Republicans and Donald Trump. So I don't agree with that. But again, I still think that Jasmine has some intelligent things to say, and she does come across different. She's not like Nick, but I'm saying I've come across Jasmine in a lot of clips where she's talking kind of ignorant, where she's being kind of loud, etc. And it's like the same thing with Nick, right? The clips that people clip of him are him cursing, saying the N-word, etc. So I do see now why both of them have their following, right? If you take the time to listen to Jasmine, she knows a lot about government, it seems, and she understands her constituency, and she's doing things for them. And the same thing with Nick. He knows things about the Jewish community. He knows things about Israel, etc. So people are following these people because they have a knowledge and they're providing people information. So I just want to put that out there to say on this show, we will continue to cover both sides, Democrats, Republicans, moderates, also those who are leftists and those who are considered alt-right, because I want to hear what everyone says. I believe that everybody should have a voice. And if we all were to talk more instead of canceling people, maybe we could find a compromise that works for the majority of Americans. Now on to the Fuentes updates. Guys, Nick blocked me, so I can't actually see his clips. So we're using the Fuentes updates to keep up with what's going on with Nick. So this says, MAGA failed. A blue wave just happened, and the Groypers are jubilant. MAGA failed, a blue wave. Okay, this is talking about the Mamdani and the races that happened last night. All right, let's see what he said.
Creatures, these consultants, these think tank nerds, these fucking dorks and losers, these out-of-touch theater kids and student council presidents, these fucking punks, they are miserable. There's a sense of dread. It has captured them because they know that MAGA is dead. It's dead. It has failed. It is a disappointment. The mass deportations, they're not happening. America First foreign policy, they forgot all about it. Approval ratings in the toilet. Epstein files covered up. Blue wave just happened. But the Groypers are jubilant. The Groypers are triumphant because the Groypers are winning. We're the only ones having fun. All these MAGA people, all these heritage Americans, all these people saying, hey, patriot, hey, patriot. Are you trusting the plan? These people have been humiliated ritualistically by this administration. All that exuberance from the Cruel Kids table cover, all the exuberance from the election crashed on the rocks on the shore of reality which is that your guy is owned by Israel, but we are winning. We are ascendant. The energy is with us. We're having fun. Now we're always smiling. Now we're the ones laughing. Now we have the energy. And they're upset because they know that. To add insult to injury, these guys like Patrick Casey, they're left making excuses. Hey, guys, don't be anti-Israel. They're getting motherfucking destroyed in the replies. It's over for them. You had your chance. You had your chance. We tried it your way. It didn't work. Now we're going to try it our way. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to infiltrate the institutions. We're going to keep spreading the message, and we're going to double down. No.
I'm going to let him go, but he said a few things. So, for one, Nick is a conservative, and he does generally support Republicans. So I feel like he's trying to distance himself from the Republicans' loss by saying, look, these are all the things I dislike about what the Republican Party is doing. They're not going far enough with deportations. Trump is doing too much stuff with Israel. So basically, though the Republicans lost, he's distancing himself and he's saying, well, it doesn't bother me because he's not doing what he said he would do. Also, I do think that he's just a funny person. When he's not talking about racial things, it seems that I understand his jokes a little bit better. Maybe that's a bias coming from me. But this kid, Nick, he is pretty funny. Again, I do see why people follow him. I just think he's trying to brush off the losses on his side, and he's trying to say that it doesn't bother them. Now, what he did say that is true is I have noticed that Nick PBD interviewed Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, Jake Shields. A bunch of people have interviewed him. More of his clips are available on YouTube. I even have people who I know who are unfortunate. I do know people who are Groypers. They're telling me that his clips and his content is now being suggested on YouTube. So this is a stark change from when Nick was banned from X and later he was reinstated. He's banned from Instagram. He's banned from TikTok. He was banned from YouTube. That's why he created a Rumble where we're seeing these clips. So basically he's saying they have the energy. A lot of that is somewhat true. There has been more energy and more people coming across Nick's name, more people openly saying they support the various things he talks about. So I can see why he is jubilant and happy. He feels like now he's getting some credence with the people in the mainstream, and he's allowed to be shown to more people in the American population. So, I mean, congrats to you. I know that you were banned, and I just respect a person who got banned from the system, but the system somewhat had to let him in. I respect that. I still think your views are dumb, abhorrent, and I still think you're retarded and ridiculous, but I give credit where it's due. So props to the Groypers, you guys, for staying strong in your beliefs. Now that you are on the mainstream, just get ready for the roasting and the heat, because you're going to have to defend a lot of these racial things, a lot of these anti-Semitic things, a lot of this misogynistic stuff that you guys have been laughing about and talking about in the comments and doxing people. Sorry to go off on a rant, guys, but people have actually been like saying on X that when they go against the Groypers or go against Nick, their address has been put out, or people threaten to kill them or harm their kids. You guys need to stop it with those childish bullshit games.
Tucker, I disagree with you respectfully. Appreciate the platform. I appreciate the opportunity to express myself, but I maintain my disagreement with him, although I think it's more civil now. We shook hands. I welcome him. I think he is America first. I think one day he'll be fully with us. I really like him as a guy. I thought our interview was excellent, but I maintain the disagreement. It's not about Israeli policy. It's about world Jewry. We're going to keep saying that. We're going to keep making that case because we're right. And it's persuasive. And in 2028, we're going to play hardball. It's all for nothing if we don't take it to the Capitol. Don't you understand? We're not fighting for control of the hinterlands. We're not fighting for control of some empty plot of land. We are fighting for control of the Capitol. It's a capital siege, metaphorically. Don't you understand? That's how a war works. You surround and occupy the capital cities of the country. That's what we need to do. New York, LA, DC, we need to occupy, politically speaking, the capital, the center of power. You have to infiltrate the institutions. To do that, we need to play hardball. And in 2028, this is when we make our entrance onto the stage. Maybe there'll be a Republican primary candidate we can back. Who knows what could happen? No one knows what could happen. No one knows what could possibly happen or who might run in 28. Maybe someone will run. I don't know. But certainly we'll be there in Iowa. And if Vance thinks he's the front runner, if Rubio gets the money, we will be there to tell everybody about it. We will be there to tell. And if you think that's not going to play in Iowa, okay, we'll be in New Hampshire too. And then we'll be in Nevada. And then we'll be in South Carolina. It's a long primary season. And Groypers have been chomping at the fucking bit to get involved. And they're everywhere. They have been chomping at the bit. What can I do? I want to get involved. In 2028, it's going to be a long primary season because we'll be there at every stop with homemade signs, and people drive out. People will go where they are summoned, and we will get the message out, and we will play hardball.
Okay, guys, so there's a few things on this second part. He discussed that the Groypers, not necessarily him, but he wants the Groypers to be more involved in politics. And then he also made some comments about Jewish people and Jewry and kind of trying to separate them from Israel. So I'll talk about the political aspect first. I do think it's good for more people to become civically engaged. So I think it's good if the Groypers are either run for office or start backing candidates. I believe that there are a lot of Americans and we need as many people in the political sphere as possible. Because if you vote, guys, if you get out there and participate in government, you'll get the things that you want for yourself, your family, etc. So I think that it's only a good thing for the Groypers to now back candidates and potentially run themselves. I also think that Nick was wise to get a following, and if he wanted to influence politics and he couldn't run himself or he couldn't get on the main stage, I think that it's good that he built up his following to a point where there are many of them now, and he says that they're on the internet and they live in various places, so he won't just be defined by like one particular city or one particular region. They'll have people with that support them in all across the country. Now, the second thing that I wanted to discuss was the Jew aspect, which he only touched on a little bit. But to me, my thoughts again on the Jews is that I believe that he's talking about predominantly Zionists, so not necessarily just anyone who believes in Judaism, but he's talking about Zionists who want Israel to be Jewish, but then also some of these Zionists are like dual citizens with America. So I disagree with like the politicians being dual citizens, because you want American politicians to be American. But I do think that Nick is going too far when he says the organized Jewry. I was actually talking to someone earlier today about this, and I think that all groups, whether it's black people, Hispanic people, white Christians, gay people, Jewish people, etc., they have groups, they have organizations. So I'm not saying it's a conspiracy just because there's groups of Jewish people, there are groups of blacks trying to do stuff for their community. Just like you have politicians who represent, let's say, Orleans Parish, or they represent this congressional district, those people are trying to help the people in their district, right? So people are going to try to help the people that they represent. I think the problem comes in when people start seeing themselves as only representing or predominantly representing their district, right? When we send these politicians to Washington from our district, we want some things in return for our local municipal regions, but we also want these things to help the larger American people, because what people experience locally, I assume, is being experienced by people in different regions. So I would like to say that there's nothing wrong with people representing their group, whether it's women representing women or Muslims representing Muslims. The only problem I see again, and where I do think I agree with Nick, is if you start to notice something where it's like you're putting Israel in front of America, right? That could be a problem, and in my opinion, it is a problem from the standpoint of right now in America. I'll just bring up the war because that's something many people know about. If you criticize Israel, what Israel is doing in the war, people will call you anti-Semitic. Obviously, that's Israel having control and influence over what Americans can say. We don't want that. We have to push against that. So Nick has called out many times that he believes the politicians are in bed and controlled by Israel. He believes this because of AIPAC. So AIPAC gives money to Republicans and Democrats, which is odd, right? You would think the way our political system runs, you would either support the Democrats or you would support the Republicans. But AIPAC is backing both sides. So that just goes to show, well, yes, the Republicans and the Democrats are trying to do things for their constituency and get policies that are liberal or get policies that are conservative. But regardless, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, Israel is taken care of, right? Because they funded both sides. So though Nick may sound like he's a lunatic or sound like he's way off, there's definitely some truth there. So if you have a government like Israel, and I have to look into Qatar and Russia and China, etc., because I don't want to be unfair to Israel. I want to make sure that there aren't other governments doing this. the situation with Israel is that you're supporting both sides. So basically, no matter what happens with our food stamp shortage, Israel's still getting the money that they need for the military and the things that they're doing. Just like the politicians themselves are getting paid. So I just think we should all stay abreast on what's going on with these foreign influences. Learn about more than just Israel, because the gang, well, I'm going to look it up myself, guys, but I'm also saying you should look it up yourself as well, because we just want to find out what foreign governments are influencing ours. This is about Israel again, guys. one of his many talking points. America first or Israel first? Where does your loyalty lie? The infighting will be over soon as the Jewish-backed wing of the Republicans surrender. Okay, this is a new thing he's coined to me, the Jewish-backed Republican wing. The future belongs to WAG. I don't know what that represents. Not the agenda of de-radicalization. What the heck does Wang have? Oh, what? My nigga, you do go hard as fuck. So that I can see that fitting you, homie.
America first, Israel first. Are you loyal to America? Are you not? Do we have sovereignty? Do we not? And by the way, we can end this at any time when the Israel lobby is ready to acquiesce. When the pro-Israel side is ready to acquiesce to America first, when they are ready to wave the white flag and surrender, it can all be over. For Jack Posobiec and Matt Walsh and all these other guys that just desperately want the infighting to end, I'll be the first one to say, we will accept your surrender at any time. You want to get together and unite and fight the left? You want Nick Fuentes to stop fighting the Republicans? You can wave the white flag at any time and surrender to America First forces. And then we will embrace you, we will bring you in, and we'll be your strongest allies. But it's not going to happen until we put America first. We could do it the easy way, we could do it the hard way. So, where's your money? Where are you going to place your bets? On Ross Doubthat at the New York Times? National Task Force for Fighting Anti-Semitism? Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro? Lomez and Chris Rufo's new show on The Blaze? Who the fuck is watching that, by the way? I know how we're going to fight Nick Fuentes. You like Nick Fuentes and the Groypers? You're going to love this. It's Jonathan Kieperman, a Jew academic, and Chris Rufo, who's married to an illegal immigrant from Asia. And they're going to talk about why the left sucks from the studio that brought you the Groypers, from the guys that brought you white-ass niggas going hard as fuck. Here's another Jewish academic who's 50 years old telling you it's about the left. Who the fuck is watching that? How dare you? Do you think that's going to compete with me? Coming to the Blaze. Coming to the Blaze. Fuck you. Lomez, Passage Press. The guy sucks. 3 feet tall and the guy sucks. And Chris Rufo's even worse. Eat shit. Place your bets. Who do you think is going to own 2028? Rufo and Lomez, Yoram Hazony and Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro, or the white-ass niggas going hard as fuck? Who's going to win? Who does the future belong to? Nick Fuentes and Dan B and Myron and Zerka? Yay? Tucker Carlson, hello, welcome to the club. The whole crew, all the niggas rolling 6 million deeper is going to be the de-radicalization agents. It's going to be Curtis Yarvin. Or is it going to be Curtis Yarvin in his cool leather jacket? Curtis Yarvin in his leather jacket. So I think that, like Oliver Cromwell, Oliver Cromwell is like, fuck off, Jew. Never gonna happen. We run this. 2028, Groypers run this. 2028, we are gonna run the election. Get ready.
All right, so I don't like some of the things he says about Israel, but I'm not really I'm gonna look into that more. What I would say is I knew some of the names he said on both sides. Obviously there's infighting between the more mainstream, more moderate Republicans and some of the alt-right Republicans. So Nick is basically saying that the Groypers, as well as Dan and Jake Shields and Tucker, now he's saying Tucker's on his side now because they're trying to deplatform him, demonetize him, censor him just for interviewing Nick. He's saying that Myron Gaines, who I've actually come across X, he's saying that these people are the ones with the juice, the ones with the power now, the youth, and the energy is with them. I see that, but I'll say to them, I think they're a minority in terms of the group of Groypers and the people who think like them. And again, I said that many of the Groypers were doing doxing people, etc. So what I'll say about the Groypers is the ones who are open-minded and willing for conversation, please continue to talk to us. But some of you have also said very rude things to me. You've doxed people, threatened to kill people, etc. Said where their homes are, talked about killing their children. We don't fuck with all you niggas. I think that if Nick thinks that his group is going to be able to infiltrate government, and he thinks that his group is going to be able to take over America, be strong in American politics, let's see. Because there are a lot of women who don't like your rape jokes, Nick. There are a lot of women who don't want to be homemakers, who don't want to just stay in the house, but they want to work. There are a lot of black people who don't find your jokes funny. They find them offensive because you talk about all blacks by just pointing out negative things that some blacks are doing. There are Hispanics who don't like when you talk about brown people, and people like you and Lily Gaddis say Hispanics are rapists and murderers. There are definitely a lot of Jewish people who are law-abiding citizens, who are doctors, lawyers, etc., who are saving lives, who are helping this government run, who are protecting, who are putting people in jail who are committing crimes, but also helping people who are innocent, right? So I understand that the Groypers are probably have diversity, but you tend to talk very positively about white males. You tend to talk very positively about white male Christians, but there are Muslims, there are Jews, there are Christians, there are atheists, etc. So I respect you guys' views, and I think you guys could come to the table, but you're going to have to capitulate to us, my boy, right? When you guys come to the table, you're going to have to understand that all your views will not be accepted. They can only be implemented where possible, right? We have a diverse culture. So all of this shit you talking about make America white again or make America whiter to make it better. America's already diverse and we're already the greatest nation in the world. We have accepted immigrants throughout time from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, etc., as well as America was founded on immigration itself because Europeans came here and they already had people I consider East Asians, but they're called Native Americans, right? So if you want to join the table, great. Just know that it's not going to go like you think. You're real happy now. You think you got the juice. Just wait till you run across some of these liberal white women and have some debates with them. Sometimes you may win. Sometimes you may lose, right? A lot of people on the right talk bad about these liberal white women. Many of them are intelligent, so we'll see how you do if you are asked to debate one of them. We just saw Jasmine Crockett earlier in the conversation. I actually would like to see you and her have a discussion because I think that some places y'all may agree, some y'all may disagree, but I would like to see her defend her views and her policies against some of the things that you're trying to push. So honestly, in America, guys, now that the youth is well, I still consider myself youth, so people like under 40 young. Now that young people are energized and into politics, it really would be nice if there were more, I don't know how we could set this up, but if there were more situations where people of different ideological backgrounds and different views debated, right? Even though Nick is not a politician, I still think it would, or maybe he is one now, it would still be nice for people of different views to sit down and talk so that us, the American people, could say, okay, what are you guys' ideas and what do we think about them? If you only hear, like when you're looking at the news now, you may only just see, okay, this is the Democratic policy. So you listen and you like some of it, or you may just get your news from Fox or some of the right-wing leaning platforms and you might hear some of their views and like it. I think what America is missing now is we're missing like presenting both sides to us, right? We need a situation where we get a lot of information from both sides so we actually pick from a place of objectivity and knowledge and not picking from what we don't even know about. I think as Americans, we just fall into this loop in this cycle of, okay, I get my news from here and I like what they're saying. And you don't even give the other chance aside to like see if they're more than just the clips you see. Like I forgot the name of the squad, but people like AOC, etc., they kind of get branded as liberal lunatics, and we definitely just need to have. And the same thing happens to Nick, as I'm seeing myself. Many things he's saying are correct. He seems like a nice person. He's charismatic, but he's also like fun going, and he seems positive. Like, looking at him, I don't now think that he like hates black people, for example, right? Like, you listening to him talk, it's not like he's trying to hurt them. He just goes too hard on them sometimes about the jokes, and it's like kind of like maybe he thinks it's dark humor, but I think it goes too far. So I just said all that to say, guys, I love the energy from them. I want them to come to the table. And I just think that not just Nick, but people like Myron, I'll just end this on Myron. Like, he said various things about like women. So Isabella DeLuca, Yes Jews, all these people, Emily Austin, he'll make all these comments about people. And I think that it would be good if some of these people would actually rebut him in like a video interview and like state why they support feminism or why they support certain policies, because I think that Myron is kind of like shitting on women and being rude and disrespectful. Obviously, I would have no problem talking to Myron or Nick, but I'm a small fish in a big pond. So that's why I'm saying people like Jasmine or people like Emily who do have followings, it would be nice for them to speak to Nick. People say that's platforming him, but at the end of the day, if you believe that feminism or the things you're trying to push are better than him, speak on it. Speak on it against him. I'm still confused as to why everybody's worried about this guy. Like, he says a whole lot of dumb shit, and I believe myself or just anybody, if you're intelligent, you can have a conversation with him and just point out, where he's wrong. There's one more clip from Nick, and then we'll go to comments. The radical element on the left captured their institutions. Mamdani, probably. The establishment right is terrified of the same thing happening. Unfortunately for the GOP, good old party, it's already happened. Yes, he just seems like he's just in a great mood about the Democrats beating the Republicans, guys. That's what I mean by the civil war between the Republican Party right now.
You're giving the game away. I told you so. He said, look, we lost the information battle. We can't ban him on Instagram. His clips are everywhere. We can't ban him on Rumble and Twitter. We are being hanged by our own standard of free speech. We fought for free speech. Now we got it. Now Nick Fuentes' ideas have triumphed in the information space. He said, we can't control that. It's too big. It's too broad. So we're going to retreat to the next layer. He said, we can control the institutions, hiring and firing, sidelining and promoting. Where? Think tanks, congressional offices, political campaigns. He says, in the late 2010s, I watched generational conflict play out in disastrous ways in liberal and left-leaning institutions where the younger guard was increasingly radicalized and the older guard moved rapidly from patronizing encouragement to besieged submission, from welcoming radical tendencies to being paralyzed by fear of junior employees whom they themselves had elevated and in theory could still discipline or fire. The radical left took over the Democrat Party. Nancy Pelosi has to bend the knee to AOC in certain instances. Zohran Mamdani defeats Andrew Cuomo. He said, in the left, the radical, bombastic, enthusiastic young people captured the institutions. Because initially, the establishment on the left was, let's say, they were caught with their pants down. They didn't know that they had let the fox in the henhouse. They let in a dragon. He said he witnessed that happen on the left. He writes, whatever share of Capitol Hill interns or think tank employees are actually Fuentes sympathizers, this is the scenario the institutional right needs to avoid right now, preventing radicalized junior staffers from steamrolling or puppeteering nominal superiors, in-name-only superiors. Music to my ears. Delicious. Another. I'll have another. Another course, please. Another one of these. Another round. I love it. Succulent. Scrumptious. Delicious. And it's delicious because it's already happening. It's already happening. Past tense, it happened. Steamrolling nominal superiors, puppeteering nominal superiors. We're everywhere. He says, it's too late to control information. Let's try to gatekeep the institutions. You've only caught on far too late. Look at what happened the other week. Gavin Wags blew up a group chat. You throw a rock, you're going to hit 30 Groypers in Washington, D.C. You throw a rock in Washington, D.C., it's going to bounce off the heads of 30 Groypers. What are you talking about? It's not too late for the institutions. Oh, if only you knew.
Okay, so a few things going on here. Outside of just the Civil War in the Republican Party, Nick is basically saying that there was a civil war in the Democratic Party, and he's saying that the liberals won, the progressive won. That's why Mamdani won the New York mayoral election. This is a regional thing. In some places, it may be more liberal, more liberal and more progressive Democrats. In some places, it may be more moderate Democrats. Same with the Republican Party. In some places, it may be support for moderate Republicans. In some places, it may be support for more alternative and extreme Republicans. This may have to do with youth. It may also have to do with ideological differences. I actually like this because what I wanted to see in American politics is I don't like the two-party system because it's like either or. And I think bipartisanship would help the more people in the middle and a larger group of people. So if we were to end up having a situation where now the Democrats are just progressives and then maybe Nick's group overtakes the Republican Party and they're just conservatives, we may have a more grown-up or more adult political party in the middle, and that might be what Elon was talking about when he said he may create a party. I think that party, separate from them taking money from Israel or any foreign government, I wouldn't want like a foreign government to be in control of this third party, but I think that having a third party and giving Americans three options would make Americans think and allow Americans to pick, instead of picking the lesser of two evils, which people always feel like they're doing. So, for example, in the Mamdani Cuomo race, a lot of people felt that, well, we didn't want Cuomo to win because of the sex scandal, but then we also didn't want Mamdani to win because he's pushing a lot of socialist and communist ideas. But the thing was, you had to choose one of them, right? So people who picked Mamdani might have just picked him because they didn't want to support somebody they thought was like a predator. But then other people may have picked Cuomo, not even because they supported him or thought he was the best candidate. They just thought he was better than what they believe is a socialist running the government. So I think that what's maybe happening in America is that you have the two extremes who have kind of grown because on social media and with the youth, they've been allowed to share their ideas. So you have like the extremes of like people who are in, I don't know what you would call them, but certain factions. You have this group who gets a lot of its information from here and they have this belief. And then you have another side on the right who gets all the information from here and they have these beliefs. But then you have more of the mainstream group, which I think most Americans is give and take. I think whether it's welfare, whether it's crime, etc., I think most Americans will work together and say, look, we just want a solution, right? We see problems with the black community. We see issues with in the white community, liberals and white conservatives. We see issues with some of the things in the Hispanic community. We see issues with some of the things in the Jewish community, right? I think most people think all groups have their bad apples, right? And I think that what these extremes are doing is they're categorizing all, on the left, they're categorizing straight white men as a certain way. Or the conservatives are saying anybody who isn't a straight white man, Christian, they're in some way have an issue, whether they're a woman, whether they're black, whether they're gay, right? I don't think there are large groups, but I think that the vast majority of people are more in the middle. And why a lot of people checked out of the political system, why a lot of the people were frustrated when Joe Biden and Trump ran. A lot of people voted, but people said, we don't even like both candidates. Well, guys, it's because what we have to do, us people in the middle, we have to get more engaged, like Nick was telling the Groypers, and we have to vote for the candidates we want early on in the primaries. So guys, start paying attention to your primary elections. And if there are candidates who you agree with, who are like moderate, you got to vote for them in the primaries. One of the reasons why the both parties are potentially being hijacked by the extremes is the people that are extreme are more into politics. So when you have a primary race, they're the ones that are winning those elections. So those are the ones who are being put up as the face of the party. I actually don't believe that the Groypers or the people who vote for the squad, etc. I don't believe that the American people are on these two extremes. We just see these extremes in the candidates because early on in the process, we are not voting for the more moderate people that we support and the views that we like. So I just think that as Americans, we need to try to be more engaged in the system. Now on to comments. We have a few. All right. There's a mix again, not just Nick stuff. So I'll read a few for you guys. There's one shocking. Nick Fuentes shares his vision for America with Alex Jones. This is from Fighting Bros 101. Horrible take on Nick's policy views. Nothing was correct. I highly doubt that nothing I said was correct, and I try to be fair to Nick. So hopefully, Fighting Bro, if you continue to watch the episodes, you'll see that I'm objective in my coverage of Nick. This is Lily Gaddis, the blackface bimbo. Sorry, Lily, but you shouldn't have dressed up in blackface. Lily better watch it. She should watch it, but we don't want any physical harm. Maybe we can just leave comments on her X or whatever, her YouTube, and let her know how we feel. We definitely don't want anybody to harm anyone. This is from Nick Fuentes, Dear Black People. That reaction came out a while ago, but people are still viewing it, guys. So check that one out if you have not. Snizzy Snake Jr. 9714. This is an L, big bro. I guess this is somebody saying that what I said about Nick was inaccurate, or saying that Nick's points were better than mine. For the racial stuff, I think I usually get Nick. He's constantly just talking about blacks on welfare, blacks committing crime, blacks who commit murder. So whether it's welfare, 25% of blacks, murder, 1/18,000% of blacks, and then crime, like 6% of blacks. These are all minorities, right? So 94% of blacks are not committing crime. How do they fit into this? I don't know how to do the one with the fraction. I'm not as smart as Nick Fuentes, but the one where it's 10,000ths of us, the rest, the 99% of us, 99.999% of us don't commit murder. And then the same with welfare. Three out of 4 times we see a black person, they're not using food stamps. So again, these are just stereotypes. They don't really fit us. So I believe that I'm providing statistics in response to Nick that are more accurate than the narrative he's presenting. I'll give you guys 2 more. This is again to Nick Fuentes shares his vision with America with Alex Jones. Nick makes sense. It's not racist if it's true. A lot of what he says is true, but again, what makes it racist is, unlike me, he doesn't provide the statistics for everyone. Whenever I talk about blacks, or for the most part, when I talk about blacks, I bring up crime with Hispanics, Asians, and whites. So the only thing that's making it racist is that you're talking about a bad thing and you're focusing on one group. So what is making it come across is like saying, is like, this group is the problem and this group is the only group committing crime. Both things, right? Some will say, well, he doesn't mean all blacks. Okay, but he's still implying that it's just blacks we're talking about in terms of crime and violence, etc., when other groups are doing it at high rates too. Maybe not as high a rate of blacks, but they're still doing it at a high rate. And this is the last one from Stu Peters. I don't like, this is when Stu was talking dumb to me, talking about what black women, rap music, etc. If Stu factored in the underprivileged of the black class, then he might fully comprehend why statistics are so skewed. Breaking poverty in all classes directly affects criminality. Exactly. So I've shown different graphs showing people that race has a effect on crime, but so does poverty. So it's not an either or. Yes, blacks are less impulsive than whites, and whites are less impulsive than Asians. But it's not just about the impulsivity. Also, whites are smarter than blacks, but Asians are smarter than whites. And it's not just your intelligence, but it's also your economic situation, right? Middle class people act a little different from the lower class, and the upper class acts different from the middle and lower class. So again, it's not one thing. Stu is just speaking about the racial aspect. There's some truth to that, but then when you leave out the economic aspect, when you leave out the intelligence aspect, you're not seeing the whole picture. Just because someone's black doesn't mean they have a certain IQ. Just because someone is Asian doesn't mean they have a certain IQ. Just because someone is black does not mean they're in a certain socioeconomic situation. Just because someone is white doesn't mean they're in a certain socioeconomic situations. So that's why when you see someone, you just always have to treat an individual like an individual. You can't really know much about somebody without talking to them. So that's why we need to talk more. That was 5 comments, guys. Again, as always, if you like this episode, leave comments. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. I've been covering Jasmine Crockett. Let us know if you want me to continue covering Jasmine. Obviously, people want me to keep covering Nick because I've seen some comments over the night where people said cover Nick. If you want me to cover other conservatives, let us know who, and I'll look into them to find out more information. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace. If you like this video, please smash the like button, comment, and subscribe. New shows airing Monday through Thursday.